Here in Pinnaroo, Campbell and Carolyn have done something extraordinary. They've bought a church. Now, what does it mean to buy a church? Well, you're kind of stuck with a whole lot of really amazing things. And what I find extraordinary about what they've done is they've really embraced the churchness of the building. What I really mean are things like this. Here, for example, in this soft mortar, you can see the young community congregation from way back, over 100 years ago even, starting to scratch their name into this soft, sort of sandy mortar. So there's a kind of a legacy or a history of the congregation written into this walls quite literally. The little marks here are super interesting. This is where the kids would come up with a coin, stick a coin in the hole and turn it around until they'd made their own little mark. So in a way, this is a record of the community that actually came here to pray. I think it's wonderful. They haven't tried to cover it over. They're really kind of working with that idea. Another part of that story is something like this, for example. This is just the outside corner of the building, but it's called a coin, spelt with a Q, not a C. Coin is really just a way of cornering a masonry building. The corner of the building is a structural element that's normally done with a solid stone or a very strong brick course. Here in Pinnaroo, they've expressed or left that expression as part of the DNA of the church, of course. But interestingly, they're working with it in the sense that it's an unusual feature. They want to celebrate it by cleaning up out here, not covering it over anything. I also like the fact that usually this relationship is reversed. The brick is normally the infill and the stone is normally the structure. So it makes it a very local expression of that idea of coining or cornering in a building. And of course, it's a very decorative and wonderful part of buying a church. Another element that makes this church so special is a room like this, a vestibule. Now, you might have an entry hall or a front porch in your house, but how many people can really say they've got a vestibule in their home? A vestibule in a church does a really specific job. It separates you from the tawdry, ordinary outside world and prepares you to meet God in the house of God. So the job of the vestibule is to lower the scale, cool you down, quieten you down and prepare you to enter a grand space like this. The grand volume of a cathedral or a church is supposed to inspire you, lift your eyes up to the heavens, if you like. The feeling of release when you come from the vestibule into the light, as it were. Now, the other part about that from a design perspective, though, is you've got to work with that. And it's a little bit too easy to get lost and to float around in a big space like this. But Campbell's been very clever. He's designed his own light fixture here to really anchor the center of the space and give us something to pivot around and bring the scale right down to just above our heads. It's a really important object in this very large floaty space that makes the room really, really work. And I think celebrates the verticality of this wonderful churchy space.